Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 picks for cards for Casual EDH from Commander Legends 2, Battle for Baldur's Gate. So I've already talked at length about which cards I think are going to be the most impactful and competitive EDH, so now I decided to go with the cards that I believe will impact Casual EDH the most. So let's start it off with my honorable mentions, Vexing Puzzle Box and Ragged Draga the Gorguts boss. Vexing Puzzle Box is probably one of the best Manolith type cards that exists in EDH, because if it's allowed to stick around long enough, you're then going to be able to search out any artifact from your deck to put it onto the battlefield, which means you could get something like a Blightsteel Colossus or something along those lines. With Ragged Draga, it is a very interesting looking Gruul commander where it's basically a lord for mana dorks. And whenever you swing with the Mana Dork, you can then untap it, meaning that you can get in damage and then play all your spells with Mana Dorks anyways. And there is another ability where if you cast a really big spell, you can make one creature really big until end of turn. But without further ado, let's get into the main list. Starting off with number 5, Miram the Sentinel Worm. So dragons are one of EDH's most popular tribes, and Miram is definitely one of the strongest dragon synergy commanders we've seen in a very long while. Because whenever another non-token dragon enters the field, you make a token copy of that card, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So basically you're getting 2 dragons for the price of 1. And this outclasses the previous commander options that we've had for Temur Dragon, because the previous best one that I can remember was Intet the Dreamer, and you wouldn't get near that amount of value from that card. So let's move on to number 4, and this one's kind of split between 2 cards, that being Ancient Silver Dragon and Ancient Copper Dragon. They're pretty similar cards because they both rely on being able to do combat damage to a player, and whenever that happens, you roll a d20. With the Silver Dragon, you draw cards equal to the result. With the Ancient Copper Dragon, you make treasures equal to the result. Both of these are equally powerful effects, and they both end up on the same place on the list because, again, if you resolve this, you're probably going to be able to win the game with either the amount of cards you draw or the amount of mana you make. And these are the big splashy kind of effects that you really want to be running in your casual EDH decks. Up next we have number 3, the Storm King's Thunder. This is a very popular spell slinger type effect, but this is probably one of the most powerful versions of this effect that we've seen. Because Storm King's Thunder reads for 3 and X, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell X times, and then you may choose new targets for copies. So Galvanic Iteration is already a very powerful card, and this one is basically a Galvanic Iteration that you can use more than twice. Especially with the reprint of Jeska's Will, getting the X value to a very high number will be a lot easier for players to be able to reach. So there's a ton of different things that you could be able to copy with this that would be really wacky and powerful in a casual EDH deck. Well, let's move on to number 2, Deep Gnome Terramancer. So everyone knows that mono white isn't the best color in EDH. It's also probably the worst color pair you can be in because mono white doesn't have a lot of powerful cards in it as compared to the other colors. But Deep Gnome Terramancer is definitely a very good push in the right direction for mono white, because this is one of the best catch-up effects that white has received in a long time. And it's arguably better than Archivist of Ogma in casual EDH, because the amount of land ramp in the casual EDH format is very high, so you are going to be constantly triggering this thing's ability to be able to search lands from your deck onto the battlefield. And while Archivist of Ogma triggers on all the same things, the land ramp is probably going to be more important in a casual EDH game than drawing a few cards. And for my number one pick for the best casual card from Commander Legends 2, we got Maati, the Emporium Master. This card makes so many treasures. This is one of those commanders with a very simple but powerful effect that people in EDH just love to brew around. Think something similar to like a Rakdos Korvold, where instead of being rewarded with card draw, you're rewarded with treasures. This is one of those few commanders where I can see it being real competition for Prosper for being the most popular Rakdos commander. And another thing, it's a cat. People love building cat commanders. Well, that's all I had to say. Thank you all for watching. Hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you all have an excellent day.